I got a question to ask everybody, but before I ask that question, I have something to say that I think we all can agree with. School sucks. Waking up at an ungodly hour, putting on some uniform, driving 10, 20, 30 minutes to a building you never wanted to be at, mingling with people who smell like pickle juice, pimples, must, and ketchup all at the same time, sitting in classrooms where you're learning things that have nothing to do with your daily life as a grown adult. Please enlighten me. Anyone who heard me say that and has a correction for me. What are you doing in your daily life that has anything to do with the Pythagorean theorem? I'll wait and I'll be watching in the comments section. You go to lunch and you eat some concoction mixed together with pizza, burgers, beans, baked beans, lasagna, shepherd's pie. Your side is always going to be some fries, apple cider juice, apple sauce, some weird slice of fruit that you don't know about, and you mix it all together with chocolate milk, and then surprise, surprise, you got to go to the bathroom, and you raise your hand and you say, "Teacher lady, can I go to the bathroom?" And she says, "It's not time to go to the bathroom." So you instinctively wish that this woman would just give up and quit her job just so you can go take a shit because you decided to mix all that concoction at 12 p.m. in the afternoon. And now that we've gotten that all out of the way, I have a question for you. Would you be so ignorant and so bored and so desperate to leave school that you would call 911 and fake a mass shooting? Was that? You wouldn't? Well, you're a little bit smarter than this dumbass 11-year-old. Florida boy calls in fake school shooter threat so he can go home early. A Florida middle school went into lockdown and was swarmed with hundreds of armed officers Tuesday after an 11-year-old student called in an active shooter threat, all because he wanted the day off. Little Taryn Lewis Jean, terrible name, you little shit, allegedly called 911 around 9:30 a.m. shortly after the school day began at Horizon Academy in Marion Oaks, located roughly 70 miles northwest of Orlando. "Help! There's a school shooter walking through the hallway," Lewis John can be heard not so convincingly telling a dispatcher in a release call.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
"Help, there's a school shooter walking through the hallway."
What school?
Marion Oaks.
What hallway are you in?
Building 2.
Marion Oaks Elementary or Marion Oaks High School?
Huh?
Hello, can you hear me? Which school? Marion Oaks Elementary?
When pressed for basic details, including what school he is claiming to be trapped in, Louis Jean stutters and hesitates without giving up his location. He's coming, the boy says before hanging up the line. Dispatchers rushed every available deputy to the high school, which went under an immediate lockdown despite no indication of a gunman that was stalking through the building. SWAT and aviation teams, as well as several nearby state and federal law enforcement agencies, arrived at the scene in anticipation of yet another tragic mass shooting at an educational institution. Law enforcement cleared the scene just 2 hours later, finding no assailants or weapons but rattled students and faculty whose fear levels were visible. Investigators traced the 911 call to a student's cell phone, which Louis John allegedly snatched to make the call. Louis John told his friend he wanted to go home early, and when that same friend left his cell phone unattended when he went to the clinic, Louis John used the cell phone to call 911 to report an active shooter. All of this was a prank. The 11-year-old was arrested and charged with making a false report of a mass shooting, utilizing a two-way communication device to facilitate a felony, disrupting a school function, and misuse of a 911 emergency system. The punishment was not too harsh for the young child, according to Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods. Great name, especially considering the overwhelming response to the hoax call. The law requires that any person who makes these types of false reports pay restitution for the cost of the law enforcement response, which in this case will equal hundreds upon hundreds of man hours. This young man is going to need to mow a lot of lawns to pay off that bill. And I agree. I don't think the dad should be paying it. I don't think the mom should be paying it. I don't think his sister who's older than him should be paying it. I don't think granny should be coming to save the day. I don't think a legal guardian at the adoption center should be paying this off. This little bastard wasted everybody's time, and he could have got his friend arrested with him because he just didn't have enough balls to get there and go through puberty and say, "Let me call the police myself." You use your friend's phone, you little shit. That lets me know you ain't got no balls to make the judgment call to actually try to get out of school, which wouldn't have worked because you would sit there and have all these people wait for a shooter that's nowhere to be found because because you made it up for the sensation of, all right, guys, we can't find the shooter, but everybody go home. Everybody just leave. Everybody. You would have had to wait maybe about 30, 40, 50 an hour, depending on what your parents are doing, to come get you. And then after that, you probably wouldn't even be going home. You'd be going back to where they work because they took off dedicated time to come get your ass because you wanted to falsify anything in regards to an active shooter. I know there might be a few of you that'll say, oh, it's just a child, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. But the way I see it, this is a piece of shit and a waste of good sex. And I believe if this isn't the teachable moment for this little waste of 5 minutes of good sex, he will grow up to be a really dumbass teenager and an even dumber adult. So I'm hoping this is your wake-up call. I'm hoping this is your life lesson, and I hope you never have access to a phone until you're past the age of 35. And for everybody else, I would like to know what you think in the comment section down below. Is it fair? Is it unfair? What would your punishment be to an 11-year-old who fakes an active shooter call? Would you pat them on the back and say, it's okay, little Johnny? Or would you be a black parent and pull out the belt and let him know that he ain't gonna do that dumb shit no more? Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.